Hello Year 3 and welcome to another math lesson. Carrying on with time, so we are just going to get started straight away with our do now. So let me share my screen and we'll get started. There we go. So your do now is that you need to look at these digital clocks and write the time which is displayed on each of them in words. Here is an analog clock which might help you in writing the times. Press pause to complete it, and once you are ready, press play and to check your answers. Fantastic. We're going to get started straight away. So we have got here, you can see you've got the different times here downloaded, different times here displayed, and then you can see here that you've got these last two are to the hour, not past the hour. So just remember, when it goes past our magic 6, which is the sign which is half past it, we go to the next hour. Moving on. So we are today going to be calculating and comparing durations of time. So we're building on from our knowledge from last lesson. So to be successful, we need to identify the start and end time of events. We need to count on in hours and minutes, and today we're going to cross the hour. And then we are going to compare the duration, so compare the length of two events. Let's look at our star words. My turn, your turn. Hours, minutes, start time, end time. Compare, greater than, less than, equal. So remember, this is your greater than side. The hungry crocodile is always going to want to eat the bigger number. Your less than and your equals. And then finally, duration. Great. Before we get started, just a quick recap. Okay, how many minutes are there in an hour? There are 60, absolutely. What time did you eat your breakfast? 7 a.m. or 7 p.m.? I hope you all said 7 a.m. because you remember a.m. means ante-meridian, which means before midday. Ante-meridian is Latin, so before midday. And what time could you go to bed? 9 a.m. or 9 p.m? Well, you technically could go to bed at 9 a.m, but I hope you all said 9 p.m. because it's post-meridian, which is after midday. So think about it, after lunch, you'll do some more lessons and then you'll come home, have some supper and then go to bed. Right, we are going to now get started on today's lessons. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and then I'm going to switch to my other camera because we're going to go through a little bit what we did yesterday before moving on talking about duration when we're crossing the hour. So first of all, we're going to summarize quickly what we did yesterday. If you're still finding any difficulties, just watch back the video and it should become clear. Or we're going to be doing a review of some of the things that we've covered in time at the end of the week before we are all back in school on Monday. So we looked at yesterday durations when we were looking at durations across different hours. And when we're looking at durations across different hours, all we need to do is we're simply adding one each time because we're adding an hour each time. So for example here, if I wanted to know the duration between 4 o'clock and 9 o'clock, I would just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or I'd count on from 4 until I reached 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5. You could also think of it as, for example, I need to add 5 to 4 to make 9. And then when we're looking at 5-minute intervals, we are just counting in jumps of 5. So remembering that each one of these numbers which we use to represent the hours can also be used for minutes if we multiply them by 5. So from the duration of 3:10 to 3:25, we'd start off here, we go in jumps of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Gets us there. So we go 1, to 3. We've jumped three periods of these, 3 of these intervals, which is equal to 15 minutes. Now, it would be lovely if we could always have jumping intervals of hours and minutes, so that it would make life very, very easy. However, that is not always going to be the case. That is not going to be the case. So we sometimes have intervals of time where we are just going across individual minutes, so single minutes. So this is an example here. The start time is 9:04. I have 9:04 here on my clock, and my end time is going to be 9:17. So 17 minutes past 9. Because these are not numbers which are our these numbers, so our 5-minute intervals, we can't use our rule of counting on 5 to get the answer. We can use some different strategies. You could count the individual minutes on the clock count. You could probably take you a bit of time, and it would be quite difficult if you were looking at a number which was further around the clock. What I would suggest that you're going to do is you're going to subtract the start time from the end time. So you're going to take 9:17, and you're going to take away 9:04. We don't need to really worry about these 9s because we're in the same hour. So what we are just going to do is 17 take away 4. 17 take away 4. So we're going to do 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. 17 take away 4 is equal to 13. I know if I add 4 to 13, it makes 17. So again, it's knowing those number bonds as well, which are going to help us. We can also just do a quick check on here. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 minutes on our clock, and we get to 9:17. So that is when we are staying on within the same hour. We're looking at minutes, but we're staying in the same hour. What we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at crossing the hour, which means our time will start in 1 hour, and our period will start in 1 hour and finish in another. So for example, this is on my clock here. I have 4:45. It's my start time. My end time is 5:20. I cross the hour. I go from 4 into 5. Your best friend today in our lesson today is going to be a simple line like this, which says start time and end time, because it's going to help you calculate these times in jumps. Doing this in your head is possible, but it can get a little bit confusing. And to do it in your head anyway, you will use this strategy, which is using your o'clock times as the number of clocks in between, because they are nice hour jumps and they're going to be easy ways for us to look at the numbers. So we're going to be looking, it's crossing the hour. So our start time is, you can see I've labeled my number line with my start time, and I'm going to label it here is 4:45. My end time is 5:20. So what I need to do is I need to look at the o'clock time, work out what the next o'clock is to 4:45. Well, this is when having a look at my clock here, and knowing that the next clock from 4:45, well, it's 4:45. So my o'clock time in between is going to be 5. So my o'clock is 5. So what I now need to do is, this is my little staging post. How many minutes is it to get from here to here? So how many minutes pass from from 4:45 until 5 o'clock. Well, of course, I can look at my clock here and count on. I know when I say 4:45, it is what? It's 1/4 of an hour till 5 o'clock. 4:45. I'm going to count on, because looking at my clock just to check. 5, 10, 15. Yes, 1/4 of an hour is the same as 15 minutes. So here is my jump here. Then I'm going to go from 5 o'clock to 5:20. Well, that's quite easy, because 5 o'clock, if we wrote it as a normal time in numbers like that, is just 500, which means all I need to do is add on my 20 minutes. So then I need to add these two together. 20 add 15 is equal to 35. The duration is 35 minutes. Well, that's your method. Break it down to knowing that a clock, and then it's in really manageable chunks. So we're not always going to be doing ones where we're going to be doing it minutes, just crossing between 1 hour. We're going to sometimes have the case when we're going to be crossing between multiple hours. So I'm going to start here at 3:40, and I'm going to finish at 6:10. Like I did last time, I'm going to label my end time and my start time. So I've labelled my start and my end time. What I'm going to do now is I need to think, what is my nearest o'clock to my start time? My nearest o'clock to my start time is, you've got it, after 3 o'clock, we have 4 o'clock. So I'm going to put my 4 o'clock here. You can work out the jumps individually. I like to do them all in one go, but let's just work it out individually. From 3:40 to 4 o'clock. Well, I know 3:40 is the same as 20 to 4, so that's 20 minutes. Then what you're going to do is, what is the next hour from 4 o'clock? Well, that's easy enough. It is 5 o'clock, which means we're going to add, this time, we're going to add 1 hour. Then we're not at our end point yet. What's our next hour from 5 o'clock? It's 6 o'clock. What have we added here from going from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock? Another hour. You could do a larger jump, but personally, I think it's good to just break it down. Then 6 o'clock, oh, we're at the same hour, because look, the time starts at 6:10. So we're going to do 6 o'clock to 6:10 is equal to 10 minutes. So we have got 2 hours and how many minutes? 20 add 10 is equal to 30. So the duration of this period, 3:40 to 10 past 6, is 2 hours and 30 minutes. You can see here I broke this down in a simple way. And before we go back to our board, I just want to quickly run through our symbols. So this is less than, this is greater than and equal. Looking at here, this should be fairly straightforward. 50 minutes, is that greater or smaller than 35 minutes? We look at that place value again. Is 5 a larger number? 5 tens, is that larger than 3 tens? It is indeed. So our hungry Hungry Crocodile is going to rather eat 50 minutes than 35 minutes. Oh, this is where things get interesting. 20 minutes, 1 hour 20 minutes. Is that greater than or less than 1 hour 45 minutes? Well, we need to have a look. We look at our hours when we're comparing times which have hours and minutes. You look at your hours first. If the hours are different, you can then just do the comparison based on the hours. If they're the same, you're going to have to look at the minutes. So 1 hour and 1 hour is the same amount of time. 20 and 45. Is 2 tens, remember we're looking at our tens column when we're comparing first, is 2 tens larger than 4 tens? No, it's not, it's smaller. So 1 hour 20 is a shorter period of time than 1 hour and 45 minutes. Right, let's go and put some of these into some examples. So we have got here, this is a timetable that we might use. What is the duration of Jamie and the Magic Torch? So remember, on your number line, you want to put in the start time and the end time and the o'clocks between. So I'm going to start here with Jamie and the Magic Torch. So the start time is 8:45. The end time is 9:25 because that's when the next program starts. And then I'm going to look at my o'clock. So 8:45, what's my next o'clock after 8:45? Well, 8:45 is the same as 8:45. So my next o'clock is 9. So how many minutes is it from 8:45 or 8:45 to 9? Well, I know 2:45 is the same as 15 minutes. Oh, that's a bit small of a jump. That's 15 minutes. I'm just going to write mins. I'd rather you wrote minutes in your work. Then I need to go from 9. Remember, it's 9:00. No minutes have passed 9 o'clock to 25. Oh, that's one jump of 25 minutes. Then I just need to add my 2 jumps together. 25 add 15 is equal to 40 minutes. So Jamie and the Magic Torch is 40 minutes long. This is now your chance to have a go. So I would want you to know what is the duration of Moomins. Let's have just the duration of Moomins, please. What is the duration of Moomins? Okay, press pause to complete this, and when you're ready, press play. Fantastic. Right, let's do our start time. Our start time for the Moomins is, you should have written down 9:25. The end time is what? 10:05. So what is our next o'clock after 9:25? Well done if you said 10 o'clock, because we're 25 minutes past 9. And what you need to remember is the clock is going round from 9. We're going through the hour, the 9th hour, into the 10th. That's when you really think about time is going through with the clock. Imagining the clock moving. Or if you've got a clock nearby, you can always use that to help you. So 9:25 to 10. How many minutes is that? Well, I could count on using my clock, but I know that there are 60 minutes in an hour, and half an hour is the same as 30 minutes. So I know then 25 past, I need to add on another 5 minutes, because if you look here, I go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes. Fantastic. What's the jump between 10 o'clock and 5 past 10? Remember, 10 is just 10:00. We've not passed any minutes. It's just 5 minutes. So the Moomins, fantastic program, is 40 minutes. And a fantastic book, actually, the Moomins as well. So now we're going to do an example of crossing the hour, and we're going to be using hours and minutes. So remember, step success always, start time. So we're going to see how long Mermaids is. Our start time is 2:55. And our end time is 4:20. So first step is we need to go to is writing down those o'clocks. So 2:55, that's 5 to 3. So that's our next o'clock. So I'm going to just write, that's a 5-minute jump, isn't it? Absolutely. Then we're going to go to our next o'clock. What is our next o'clock? We need to get to 4 o'clock. We need to get to 20 past 4. So our next o'clock is actually going to be 4. So we've got a whole hour passing here. Then we need to get from 4 o'clock, remember that's 0 minutes past, to 4:20. So that's another 20 minutes. Right. And then we need to add all that together. So our answer is 1 hour, 20 add 5, 25 minutes. So you can see breaking it down into these steps is really helpful. Now here's your turn. Remember, start time, end time, and your o'clocks between. That is going to make this answer, make you able to break this answer down. Press pause to complete the task, and when you're ready, press play. Fantastic. Hopefully you've had enough time to do that. If not, press pause, and then when you're ready, press play. Okay, first step, start time. Land of the Dragon starts at 4:20. End time, well, the Incredible Flying Machine starts at 5 past 6, so that's going to be the end time of Land of the Dragons. So, first steps is the o'clocks in between. So, what am I going to be looking at? My first o'clock in between after 4:20. So that's 20 minutes past 4. I know my clock goes 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So my next one is 5 o'clock. How many minutes is it from 20 past 4 to 5 o'clock? Well, I know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. 60 take away 20 is equal to 40. This is why knowing these number facts in our head really make life a lot easier for us. So I need to get to the hour, is the next hour I need to get to is 6 o'clock, absolutely. And that is just 1 hour. Finally, remember 6 o'clock, when it's 6 o'clock, there's no minutes past. Finally, I need to get to 5 past 6. 5 minutes past 6 o'clock. That's just 5 minutes. Then I need to add all my times together to get my answer. So 1 hour plus 40 is 1 hour and 40 minutes. 1 hour and 40 minutes plus 5 minutes is 1 hour and 45 minutes. I know some of you are saying, oh, I could have done that in my head. I could subtract like this. That's fine. But this method will make sure that you understand that there are 60 minutes in an hour, and that you need to make sure that you're not just adding 60 add 60 when you're looking at minutes and hours. And then finally, if we wanted to compare the duration between the two films, which one is longer, 1 hour 25 or 1 hour 45? Remember, if the hour's the same, we have to look to the minutes. Quickly say out loud, what do you think is the longer film? Absolutely. So we could say Land of D is longer than Mermaids. Fantastic. Time for your independent task. As I said, I would really, really recommend drawing just the line. You could either draw it and then draw one for each question, or you could draw it on a whiteboard if you have access to one. As usual, there are challenge questions if needed. Looking forward to seeing your work. Take your time, and I'll see you tomorrow for another maths lesson. Bye-bye.